Without any more comments, I'll move on to the second recommendation. We recommend that all vendors pay the annual $15 registration fee. This registration fee will help cover the administrative costs of the Manage My Market software. And this is currently reflected as the mandatory Manage My Market administration fee on line 11. We feel that the recommendation refers more to how the fee is titled. We recognize the value of Manage My Market software as primarily an administrative tool for the city employees who organize the market. The committee recommends this change to make the line item or title more accurate to the primary service it provides. And registration fees are not unusual, and it may be seen as a more palatable or reasonable expense for our vendors. This change may help vendors understand the usage and importance of the Manage My Market software and justify its expense for the city.
And again, the language you proposed for that line?
As a registration fee.
I think it's in there.
Are you willing to field another question here?
Sure.
Yeah, Walter?
Yeah, just trying to catch up here. The Manage My Market administrative fee apparently has been in the fee structure in the previous year at least. And this year, the change that I see is that the words, the verbiage describing it changed to mandatory Manage My Market administrative fee, seasonal and walk-on vendors. So you're only talking about changing the description of the $15, keep it in there but change the description?
Changing the description, correct, and actually it would include all vendors, including table vendors. Is there any that I'm missing, other vendors? So including table vendors. The specification there for seasonal and walk-on does not include our table vendors. And seeing as this is primarily a registration or an application tool for our city employees, we think it should go across all vendors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And the last recommendation, the third recommendation of the Commission, is that season vendor fees for the 2014 season stay at 2013 levels of $260. This fee is addressed in Section B, Line 1. Season vendors have experienced fee increases over the past few market seasons. The Commission believes it is reasonable to recommend staying at the FY13 cost until the Commission and City Council can work together in creating a consistent, thoughtful, and sustainable plan for managing or increasing fees in the future. The Commission wants to better understand the current status of the market budget and future goals for how much vendor fees contribute to the budget before increasing season vendor fees again.
Looks like you have a couple more questions.
Sure.
Sue.
What is a table vendor?
Sure, a table vendor.
What's the difference between what's walk-on and seasonal and that's one I must be showing my ignorance, but I don't know what a table vendor is.
No, and Kathleen has the best descriptions of everything. So I'm going to let her take it.
So a table vendor is someone that might bring in a couple baskets of beets, and they're there for 2 hours and they leave, and they just rent a table space. And that's a typical walk-on produce vendor that might have a backyard gardener, for instance, or the ladies in Clarkston that plant 20 extra tomatoes every year and need to get rid of them.
Is there a designated space for tables?
We just fit them in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the kids area is another one. Like, I personally think it would be really hard to charge the Manage My Market fee to the $5 children's fee. I think that would be kind of tough. But we have some children's vendors now that have been at the market for 6 weeks in a row. So that's a judgment.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Tom, did I see your hand up a minute ago? Okay. Walter?
Your table vendors are at $12
Yep.
previously and proposed, no change.
Yep.
But do you concur with putting the $15 registration fee on?
Yes, for walk-on vendors.
Okay, is a table vendor
A walk-on vendor.
that only has a table but not a booth? Is that
Correct.
is there
And-
any difference between the two? I'm back
Yes.
with Sue now.
Because no, that's great. So if
Table
you go,
vendor is a walk-on vendor?
So if you go to your fee, you can have an 11 by 15 booth, which is currently $40. You can split a booth, which a lot of crafters are splitting a booth at $18 a piece. You can have a standalone table, which is quite a reduced space, for $12.
But it says plus walk-on fee.
Yeah,
So is the
that's
walk-on fee, how much is the walk-on fee?
The walk-on fee would be the $15 manage my market fee.
I see.
Oh,
It's
And
not-
that would
it's
be a
not the 40.
one-time, so I
Okay.
think we need to write that out
Yeah.
differently, but it would be a one-time season fee. Just like the season vendors only pay that fee one time each year. And so it was recommended that they change the title to a registration fee versus the manage my market fee.
Kathleen, if I may, the table vendor, parentheses, plus walk-on fee, parentheses, is not in red, which indicates to me that's the way it's been.
Yes.
So adding the $15 fee to the table vendors would not be a change.
It would be a different fee, and we'll probably delete the $5 fee and just go with the $15 fee. That's a typo, so I'll just point that out.
What line item, what line are you talking about?
I'm talking line
What
5.
line item are you on?
I'm on
There
line
you go.
5, if I'm on the right one.
B5.
Hang on a minute.
You need to hold that?
Yeah, thank you.
We put it on the, do we have it on?
No. I don't. Do you have the fee on there? Okay.
Go to the website.
All right.
Okay, now I do have a question.
I think we need to, so we know what we're talking about.
So
Go ahead.
this is how it was written for 2013, and so for 14, to look at the item number 11 on 29, where we charge all walk-on and season vendors the manage my market fee. We would take out that $5 that shows on the 3 and the table space on the 5, because
Okay,
that's not
you lost me when you go into $5. I was with you until then.
Got to go back up to the walk-on
Yep.
fee includes $5
$40
in the
includes
40.
five.
What line?
Number 2
B3,
B3.
Three.
and 3. 2 and 3.
2 and 3. B2 and 3.
I don't know that you're having trouble getting us to agree with you. I think we're having trouble understanding what it is you're asking for, at least in my case.
Let me, Aaron?
Wayne?
They're hijacking Aaron's presentation.
Let's go back to your, members of the commission recommend that season vendor fees for the 2014 season stay at 2013 levels. Line 1
Yes.
was $12. They have it at $12.85 per day.
$280 a
You're
season.
wishing to have it at $12 per day. Yes or no?
$260 per season.
It's $260 per season. That breakdown per day, the $12 would be what it would break down of the $260 rate for the season.
Why do we have, under season, we have $312, $260 both crossed out?
That's the old numbers.
Well, but what was it, 312 or 260?
312 was proposed last year, remember?
No, it was adopted last year, and then we changed it midstream after complaint.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, that's what happened.
So we're talking 85 cents a day.
Increase.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions for Kathleen or Aaron?
Make this simple. You want $12 a day and $260 for the season.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay,
And
Walter?
you want to drop the current 40, which is not proposed to change per your letter, but just drop it back to 30.
Yes, we'd like to reduce the 40 to 30.
Current 40 back to 30. Okay.
Correct.
okay, and then alter the language on line 11, so it would say mandatory one-time registration
Yeah,
for all
something like
vendors.
that, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, just a registration fee.
Okay. Yes,
I
Tom?
have a question on language. On line 5, could it, rather than saying plus walk-on fee, couldn't that say plus registration fee?
Plus
I mean,
one time.
couldn't this be
Yes.
cleaned up a little bit so that it's really clear? Because, I mean, I think what I heard last week at the Farmers Market Commission meeting was a concern of charging somebody one fee, you know, like the spaces in under number 1, but then not having it be really clear right on that line that if you sign up for this fee, you're triggering this other fee down here. I think that's the concern, is that, there's not like a really clear, if you choose number 1, you're also going to choose number 11. If you choose number 5, you're also choosing number 11. So that it needs to be either incorporated or really clear on the schedule for the fee chargee that if they sign up for one fee, they're getting another fee.
Okay.
And the analogy was taking out a mortgage and you get 3
Yeah.
or 4 or 5
Yeah.
fees.
So
Anyway, that
we
was the
can talk
question.
about that after we hear
Okay,
from
great.
some testimony, but I think that's
I
something we can
think
talk
was-
about later. Yeah.
May I?
Gets to what the questions are, I think.
Yeah, the clarification is, the recommendation is that all vendors pay the registration fee because we think it better reflects what the Manage My Market tool does for administration and management, for lack of a better word, of the market. It's a one-time cost for all members per season. And then the fees associated with the spaces are pretty straightforward because there's no additional fees wrapped in them. We think that there's some clarity that can be made by making it a registration fee. We feel it's more palatable and understandable for vendors to pay a registration fee, and it will cover the cost of the software.
Thank you. We appreciate your testimony. Walter, did you have a question for Aaron?
I have a question for Kathleen regarding a comment that Aaron made. Would you agree that the $40 fee that's been in place for walk-ons is limiting participation?
It is limiting participation because what we're seeing is vendors want to have their own space. They don't want to share. And so they don't want to have the $18 fee for half of a space. They want to have a whole space. Now, when you look at a comparison of other markets and the sizes that they have for booth spaces, our 11 by 15 is actually a pretty large space. So the $40 was more towards ag products and produce products than craft vendors. So what you're seeing is a reduction in craft vendor participation because they want a full space by themselves, and that's the 11 by 15 space. So yes, we are seeing a reduction. We're encouraging them to go to table spaces, and we're encouraging them to share spaces, but that's not necessarily the case.
Okay.
I'll wait until the public hearing is closed. I
Okay.
still have a question for Kathleen, but I think it's more discussion.
Okay. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you,
Okay,
Aaron.
do you have any questions about the comparison chart that I did for you?
During the discussion.
Okay.
Is there,
I just want to say thank you.
oh, thank you, Aaron. We appreciate
you.
your work and that of your colleagues on Moscow Farmers Market Commission. Is there other testimony pertaining to the proposed fee resolution? And to any aspect of it, not just farmers market?
David Pierce, 716 East F Street. I just wanted to comment a little bit about the sewage fees. Yes, I realize we need it, and I'm happy to see that we're going to have some changes. We certainly need to do these things, but the residential sewage fees are the only sewage fees that do not include any usage of volume as a part of the fee. That is something that is perhaps a little difficult to do, but many cities do it. What they do to deal with a volume component in the fee is to use winter usage of water as the base rate, as your base for what your sewage volume is. I attended the last meeting of the Rate Study Commission, and at that commission meeting, we were told that the average usage in the winter in the city of Moscow is 500 cubic feet of water